Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. Minnesota officials say Border Patrol leader Gregory Bovino made derogatory remarks about a Jewish Justice Department lawyer on a call with attorneys. The allegation adds to scrutiny of his role in the Minnesota operation. A federal judge ordered ICE to release 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos and his father from a Texas detention center by Tuesday. The family's arrest in Minnesota drew outrage and legal challenges. President Trump said federal agencies will not step into protests in Democratic-run cities unless local leaders ask or federal property is threatened. He told DHS to focus on protecting federal buildings and staff. Hundreds marched to the U.S. Embassy in Copenhagen to support Danish veterans after Trump said NATO allies stayed off the front lines in Afghanistan. Protesters called for respect and an apology for fallen soldiers. Newly released Epstein records include emails and contact details showing his ties to wealthy and powerful people, even after earlier investigations. Lawmakers and survivors' advocates are pressing DOJ for fuller disclosure. A federal judge declined to pause Minnesota's Operation Metro Surge, allowing the immigration crackdown to continue while the lawsuit proceeds. State and city leaders say they'll keep fighting the deployment in court. Trump's order threatening tariffs on countries that supply oil to Cuba is putting Mexico under pressure as Cuba faces worsening blackouts. Mexico's president says she wants diplomacy and warns of humanitarian risks. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. U.S. allies are stepping up engagement with China as they brace for Trump's trade threats and security demands. Analysts warn the outreach could deepen divisions among Western partners over how to handle Beijing. 6 people, including a child, were shot during a Mardi Gras parade in Clinton, Louisiana, officials said. The parade was shut down as police took one suspect into custody and launched a state investigation. Federal agents arrested Don Lemon and journalist Georgia Fort over a St. Paul church protest against ICE. Both were released and face federal charges with a February 9 court date. Germany's defense minister Boris Pistorius urged European leaders not to let fear of U.S. politics drive decisions. He said Europe should deal with Washington confidently and strengthen its own defense capacity. Crowds rallied outside the Boston Public Library in Copley Square in another anti-ICE protest. Some businesses closed in support as Gov. Maura Healey pushed new limits on immigration enforcement. LAPD declared a citywide tactical alert after an ICE-out protest turned confrontational outside the downtown federal detention center. Police issued dispersal orders near the federal building and made several arrests. Senior Iranian official Ali Larijani said progress is being made toward launching talks with the U.S., with Qatar mediating. Tehran says it wants diplomacy, but U.S. military threats remain a sticking point. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. Germany's defense minister Boris Pistorius urged Europe not to let fear of U.S. politics drive decisions. He called for stronger European defense spending while keeping close coordination with Washington. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson signed an executive order directing police to document and investigate alleged misconduct by federal immigration agents. The order calls for preserving body camera footage and referring potential violations for prosecution. Hundreds protested in Milan over plans for U.S. ICE agents to assist security during the Winter Olympics. Italian officials say the agents would work from a control room, not conduct immigration enforcement. President Trump told DHS federal forces won't intervene in protests in Democratic-run cities unless local leaders request help or federal property is threatened. He said DHS will prioritize protecting federal buildings and staff. A federal judge ordered ICE to release 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos and his father from a Texas detention center by Tuesday. The family's arrest in Minnesota sparked national backlash and legal challenges. Iranian official Ali Larijani said progress is being made toward launching negotiations with the U.S., with Qatar acting as a go-between. Washington says it's open to diplomacy, but warns military options remain. A federal judge declined to temporarily halt Minnesota's Operation Metro Surge, allowing the immigration crackdown to continue while the lawsuit proceeds. State and city leaders said they will keep challenging the deployment in court. Trump's new pressure campaign on Cuba, including threats aimed at oil shipments, is putting Mexico in a tough spot. Mexican officials warned it could worsen blackouts on the island and deepen shortages. 6 people, including a child, were shot during a Mardi Gras parade in Clinton, Louisiana, officials said. Authorities took one suspect into custody and said state police are leading the investigation.